Alright, so this is our application footer. So primarily we have our server.js. We have our index file because it's a single page application. We also have our Angular file, which hosts a lot of our information that goes inside of it. And then we have our CSS file. We also have different node modules and everything. We have like Express, Firebase, geolocation, Yelp, but as well too is we also did the CSS through it. So let me start up the service. So this is our website here. Let me resize my screen a little bit. There we go. So right now I'm logged in, so I'll just log out. Just to show, if we go into inspect element, Firebase actually already creates a local session for you. So if you wanted to, you can always grab that information, but it's not required. So initially when you land on the page, you can see that right on the banner here, welcome, this is a place where you can find restaurants based on your current location. You can find the ratings and approximate location. So if we scroll down a little bit, we can see here, Anna's Polish restaurant's pretty close to where we are. As well too is over here in University. We can click next, which is going to give us our next results. So the next place will be 4 stars, which is Johnny's Diner, and then it also gives the address for it here. The cool thing about it is like the address, all we have to do is make it clickable, and then you can get map directions automatically. It just makes things a ton more easier. As well too is there's no errors whenever you go through it. So you go back, forward, and do whichever. It also generates the map, just so that way you're able to see where the approximate location is. So what we'll do is we'll change this to local storage, and then just to show you the login process, I'll clear everything out just so that way there's nothing in there. We'll go up here to login, and we'll choose Facebook. So Facebook just logged me in, and then it grabbed all my information. But at the same time, over here with Firebase, we can actually see. So if I delete this out, I'll go ahead and delete out all the Facebook users, all the Google users, and we'll put these up side by side. Because the cool thing about Firebase is it's a live updating application. So like, I'll have to show you here in a second. So now, if I go back over here, we'll log out. So now we'll refresh the page, and now you can see that the actual local session is gone. But at the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the Firebase. So now there's nothing in the database. So now if I go to log in, I'll just log in with Twitter first. Brings us back, and then it also brings up the actual Twitter account. So inside here we have the IDs, we have the token, we have the expiration date, the values, the usernames. It also shows the recent restaurants that were nearby, and then list each one of those, and we can grab information from that as well. So it does all that in a couple of seconds, which is really cool and really efficient. But if I log out there, we can also do Facebook, which then you can see as well as it just posts all the information as needed. You got your user profile info, token, user IDs, as well too as you can see, the actual header itself changed. So every time that you log in, it actually changes this to more personal content, so it knows who you are on the desktop application. It just makes it a lot more friendlier. And as well too is we'll log out, and then we'll just do the Google login for that too. And then now you can see as well as the Google actual input, put all the information inside there as soon as I hit the login button. So it's pretty cool what it can do, because it's really fast and really like it's pretty awesome. So what we'll do is we'll go back over here. Let me just re-stretch out the screen. As well too, as you can see that the session changes every single time from Google to Facebook to whichever account that you're logged in, so that way you can't have more than one login at one time. We prevented that override from happening, because that was one thing that we noticed with Firebase that was happening, where like if you logged in with 2 different usernames, it would give you 2 of them here, and that's not what we wanted. So as for the code, if we go back into Node, Um, right here we can get the actual GPS, and we're using sockets to transmit the data back and forth, only because it ended up being a lot easier than having to deal with like doing an API call and such. The sockets do the exact same thing, and they do work on mobile, which that was a pretty cool part. I can get it to work on my iPhone, where we can actually go back and forth and back and forth and log out and log in. So this does the actual Yelp search based on the location. So it grabs the latitude and longitude, it converts it to a zip code, and then we also get the city from that. If we go down here, we actually take the city and input it into the search function, which is a Yelp module, and then that searches through Yelp and then grabs all the information and returns it back to us, and then we call it out as we need it. Down here, this is actually our Firebase users login. This actually specifies the restaurants for the restaurants. Where is it here? Inside here, when you go to load up, it posts the latest restaurants and the liking of them, and it stores the information that we need for that one there. As well too, it's just a Firebase reference outside of the call, and this overrides, so that way, if you want to try to like type in a random address, it just brings you back to the home page. Because it's a single page application, we don't want people going anywhere that we don't want them to go. So we made the URL so that way you can change it as many times as you want, and it's going to bring you back to the same page. So for the next thing that we did the actual index itself. That one's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. We use Foundation for the actual design and the blocking. We use Angular to help control the body and all different types of sort of items. And then now if we go to Angular services, inside here, we do a lot of Firebase connections. We do the body control, as well too as we have a logout function. All you have to do is do the reference point, which is the Firebase, and then unauth, which actually removes the authorization for that token. As well too as we have the show position for the latitude and longitude. It gets the current position and also does real-time updating, which is really cool. And this is also an HTML5 element, so there's a certain point where it is compatible up to. There is still a few browsers, I believe, that don't allow it, but it's definitely really cool that they've been able to implement that into HTML5 as a valid syntax. So this one here is our socket. This one's for the actual content or the Yelp that comes back from it. We have a base count and then a down count to basically every time it switches or you click the next or previous buttons, it tells it where to go. Here's the previous one as well. Go through there and it calls the API directly into it. As well too as it's doing the countdown function for each one every time you click on it and regenerates more. And then down here we have our carousel, which that's just the rotating banner at the very top here. And if we go all the way down, this is our actual Firebase login. So what it does is it does the authorization with the pop-up, as well too as you can change this to a redirect, but it just does pop-up for right now. And then it transmits back all the user information, which is everything that's inside of this array. So this is almost just exactly like Mongo. The only difference is that this is URL based, so if I click on this link, it'll actually give me a direct implementation to that user's account, but it also generates a URL for it. So you're able to just take that URL and put it directly in here and just reference that point off, and you can grab any of the information inside there. Firebase is really, really cool and really, really lenient with this type of stuff. So then you go down here, it sends that information up. Also down here, this is where we do the display names and all the information when you get logged into the page. It'll say welcome and then your name from the actual profile. And then yeah, just our callback function here for the authentication to go through. And that's it. That's everything.